G'day guys, and welcome to No Shame in the Breakthrough, meaning it is no shame in the game and the Breakthrough podcast in one. So we have the gorgeous Chika here. She is my lovely, what would we say? My lovely
energy healing friend.
Yes, my lovely energy healing friend. I think she's amazing. She was in a previous video before as well. She's actually very spiritually connected. She's well aware. She's had a few life experiences as well, and she is amazing with the fire twirling. I'm 100% going to have her in a workshop in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we've got a couple of questions here. So the first one is, how did you use your grief to harness energy from any traumatic event that you've been through?
It took me a long time. It took me, a few years of kind of going back and through the waves of grief. My first love passed away when we were both very young. And of course, being in a small town, there's lots of rumors that come with things like that. And a lot of people who I think we're just too young to understand the bigger picture in things that were going on at the time. And so that was kind of hard, but it took me a little bit to figure out how I can move past that and stay connected to my past. Like, I didn't want to let it go, because for me, I needed to learn some lessons through all of that. And I feel like if you let go of the grief, then you kind of lose the lessons. But I've learned that that's not exactly true. That you can heal from the grief and you can feel less heavy from those kinds of emotions while still keeping the lessons that you learned through it all.
The fact is that you're still here to this day. You're still carrying on. You're still continuing and doing things that you enjoy. Makes you so strong.
Thank you.
Losing someone, it's very hard, and obviously that's going to cause a lot of grief. And some people, they get stuck. They're in so much grief to the point they get stuck, and it could be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the track, they're still doing the same cycle because they're not ready to let go of that.
It's like an energy limbo.
Pain. All right.
It definitely took me a while to get out of those cycles of letting the universe give me the same situation so I could, prove that I'd learnt my lessons. But I feel like I really have.
We've got the amazing Chika here once again, and we've got another question. Sorry, my ADHD brain, I have to write everything down. So tell me your experience in the entertainment industry.
My experience goes pretty far back. I feel like it kind of resorts back to some trauma stuff as well, which might be a bit heavy to talk about, but essentially I was, in hindsight, I was trafficked into the industry. I was underage and groomed by someone who wanted that power over me and wanted to be able to control my money, and knew that they could make a lot of money off of me. And it took me a while to be able to realize that that's what was going on. And so I had to kind of break out of that and find my own way in the industry. And once I did, I had a great time for the first couple of years after I turned 18. I was working full service, and I had this really big, grandiose sense of self and a lot of pride in the money that I was making. But I feel like it was kind of a trap for me personally, especially because of the way I got into it all. I didn't really understand how heavy it was on me. And then I switched and I did some stripping and some topless work, and had good fun in the club. It was such a good environment. I loved working at Fantasy Lounge. But I definitely, it was too much work for me physically. I was getting kind of sick at the end of my shifts and physically wasn't able to keep up with it. It's hard work.
It is.
I had to take a step back and focus on my self-care. And then when I went back to doing full service, the people who I was working for did not have my best interests at heart. And so I went independent, and I was doing that for about 3 years before I got out of the industry. And my experience working independently was fantastic. I had a really good vetting process to make sure I was safe with the clients that I saw. And I built up a really good relationship with some regulars, and then I stopped advertising because I could just keep seeing my regulars, and felt very comfortable with that, and knowing that I was safe with them and that my boundaries were respected. And so that was really good. And they were kind of sad to see me go once I left at the end of last year. I put everything to rest, and I knew that this was the end of a chapter for me, and I started to work towards the next phase in life.
And that makes us super strong, and it shows no matter what you go through, you know, there's no judgment, you know.
Yeah.
Never any judgment at all. And the fact is that this makes you a strong person to be able to say this story and show you up for yourself, and, you know, get out of the industry because you didn't feel right. And, you know, there's lots of women out there that go through things similar to that. Like, I went through something similar to that, and we're constantly growing and evolving. And if you've got goals in the future, know what you're doing with your money, and, you know,
if you're working towards a business, or you've got some goals for ways you want to be able to channel your money that you're making in the industry to positive things, to bring in positive energy, it's really good.
It is really good. Never any judgment. Like me, I put my hand, I work at Fantasy Lounge, and I'm a stripper, and I'm not ashamed, and I've got lots of goals in building healing retreats. You meet friends. Like, I've only recently met this lovely lady, and we've been doing pole dancing lessons together. Oh my God, we need to get a video.
We've done some energy sound healing at Katarina Beach.
And her fire twirling skills is amazing. Like, I really look up to you in that area. That's why I'm like in a retreat in the future, guys. She's going to be like training all the fire babies.
That'd be awesome to do some fire skills, get people used to even just fire safety. We're getting people used to like lighting their inner spark and figuring out how they can channel their fire and brighten up other people's life, create warmth for other people, and help provide that security.
Igniting the fire within your soul. I did it. I had a healing over the phone, and she's like, "Oh, your fire's been out," because like all my people were taking, and she's amazing. She balanced me out. She goes into your the astral realm, and she looks at you, and she was like, "Oh, you have goo in your wings, your throat chakra's all twisted, your organs," and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what am I doing in the astral realm?
It's hard to know,
And she straightened all of that up. And then in your reality, it straightens your reality up. And you can feel the fire being ignited, but you just do it naturally. I knew you were
being
a
fire sign, it makes it a lot easier.
It does, it does.
I think that I have to be careful of not letting my fire overpower other people. And not letting it burn out in a way that like will affect other people's energy. And I'm trying now to practice like
it's the awareness,
being a little bit more reserved instead of pushing my energy onto other people so heavily, or being so empathetic and taking on other people's energy.
Oh, that's trust me, lovely.
Oh
my God,
it's a learned
skill. It's hard
to not like to care, but to not let it impact your life.
Like, I was at work at just at Fantasy one day, and it's just like someone, usually I take up the energy, but this time I was like, honey, not this time. And then, because usually what I do is I go into change rooms and try and meditate, because I let this individual take my energy. But when I said no, I didn't need to go to the change rooms and meditate, because I'll put my boundaries up. Sometimes you've got to have a war and put your boundaries up, because if you let people cross those boundaries, they're taking, and that's taking from you. If you put those walls up and be like, and become a strong, independent woman or man, then things start shifting in your favour.
Yeah, for sure. It takes a bit of practice though.
It's a whole lot of practice, my darlings, trust me.
And I'm not super into astrology. I just kind of try and keep in tune with like the moon and the sun and my own energies. But I've been trying to learn a little bit more about other people's signs and how the change of seasons will affect everything, how other people's energies will affect them, and the way that they interpret things. And I think it's all very individual. It's hard to figure out how to read people sometimes.